Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Jacob Good as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. This is off an album from an ex named Deafheaven. Deafheaven? Yeah, Deafheaven, titled Lonely People with Power. The track is titled Heathen, and we're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. What do we got? Get the lyrics up there. Interesting. Oh. Peaceful. Get the art up there as well so you can check that out. I love the starry nature of those higher guitar parts as well. Great transition, the fry vocals, the screaming. Unexpected but effective. It's just great to have time to appreciate the instrumental theme behind everything, without the vocals pushing us further, even though they're good too. Like, I want to pause it, but I can't. Great use of halftime here. Great use of blast beats as well. Oh, the sass behind the tone of those squeaks, though. middle. Someone adored lifts him today. All who stay will know true love. I'm gonna have a think about this track, and then we're gonna talk about it more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Deafheaven, titled Heathen. Now, before we get into it, I think Jacob's just left a note. He said, I remember getting into Deafheaven back in uni, especially their classic Sunbather album. It was my intro to that wild mix of death metal and shoegaze. Fast forward to 2025, and Heathen feels like the band getting back to what they do best. The track blends black metal, indie rock, and screamo in that unmistakable Deafheaven way. It's a solid return, really hits hard and keeps you hooked. It's good to know how we feel about it. I mean, and honestly, like, it looks like a really cool album. I want to mention here that I'm heavily considering doing weekly album reviews via the Patreon. So if you're watching this and you want to look at those, it might be worth subscribing. But I'll do a few of them before I start talking more about it, just so that I know personally that I'm at steam with that. Because I don't want to start something and then not be able to continue it, you know? But anyway, so this is Heathen. I think it is about someone, just looking through the lyrics, who is initially... You know, it talks about his heart is closed and right where he trusted, who is he closed with, feeling like he loses a sense of self to lust in Days Without Roses. So I think eventually it's someone who just ends up seeking power, and those who are there will get his true love. And maybe they just, people who adore him get treated well, but then eventually those who don't just get left behind. It's a numbness, not being able to sort of like be able to cope with the sins he's committed or the position they're in, dealing with that sort of like psychological state that they're in. Strangers in Desire. I think it's like when they go into the screamy parts with I wonder what is numbness and what Tacoma into the lights, closing his eyes into the lane, driving ahead into mystery. It's almost like we're kind of questioning in a manic way what his position really is, like whether he's numb to the sins he's committed. There's more to it. I would want more time to think about this and to sort of consider the lyrics, because it's not clear, but at the same time I feel nonetheless intriguing. The vocal performance going between sort of sung parts, screaming and talking is compelling. You've got 5 minutes of this in various shapes and forms, and I feel like it's really effective. I've got absolutely no complaints about the vocal technique, great use of head and chest voice. The spoken part's more down to earth and a bit more kind of somber, which is a great mood shift. The growls are done in a way with an attitude where it's very kind of like, I don't know how to say this, like sassy with the way we say some of those words or express them, but I love the attitude behind it. I dig how well it niches with a lot of the shoegazish kind of stuff that Jacob was talking about. It's really cool. And so I think that in addition to that, what I appreciate is the fact they managed to blend that together with a track within 5 minutes that is extremely well fleshed out. I mean, it's a complicated harmony behind it. Structurally, this track is 5 minutes long, as I mentioned, and it's got different verses and choruses and little kind of like there are interlude sections as well, and parts where it goes half time and parts where it goes full bore with the blast beats. You know, there's variation there. And like we start with like the beautiful sort of sung parts with the clean vocals, with the guitar, bass, drums, etc. Everything coming in there. There's absolutely no hesitation to get to that point. We're very kind of cognizant, I think. Oh, never mind. I forgot. I just double checked, and there was like the vocal part there, the kind of the monkish kind of vocoder part there, or the sung part with the interesting effects chain on it, almost like some of those parts are reversed. It's cool because it's kind of vague. It's like, oh, we've got a really cool melody. It does facilitate what's going on, later on with the chord progressions and stuff, like the key signature matches. But it's almost like we have that kind of intro, almost like a spiritual kind of thing. Like it sounds like a hymn or like a choir person singing it, and then boom, you've got more of the context provided within that first verse. I think from the point at the start where you have, again, just the vocals by themselves or whatever's going on with that melody, and then everything else enters and you immediately get presented with more of the facts. You go through a journey and adventure with this track where it's never predictable. You do go between these wonderful like driven distorted guitar parts. They're working well with the arpeggios when clean, and the strummed parts that we have occasionally are great, but there's also distortion in those higher parts where we really kind of capitalize neatly on some of the octave power chords up above, some third harmonies there. And there's kind of a glassiness or a kind of an edge to it that's never too much, but that coalesces really neatly with the fried vocals or the shrieks. But it's beautiful in how well it quickly transfers or effortlessly transfers between the two. I also appreciate the facilitation of the drums of some really interesting sort of quarter, eighth, 16th, and 32nd note parts for triplets. You know, typically working with a lot of the ride parts. They're almost kind of like a jazzy kind of low-key feel to it. Great sense of syncopation. No, is it syncopated? Like a little bit of syncopation with some of the other elements in regards to the drums, but ultimately just very effective with keeping almost a quarter note feel, I suppose, on some of those accents, what's coloring the 16ths in the background. And it's just really beautiful with the harmonies and melodies as well. Like, we have some extensions within those, some major and minor sevenths as well, maybe some sort of like ninths or something like that. But it's just, there are triads adhered to as well. And it's so lush sounding because of the reverb delay tails we have on a lot of the ingredients. It's really cool. The bass line typically being very supportive of the root notes within the piece there wherever we go with it. And there's lots of really interesting drum fills as well, like lots of transitory, like kind of 16th. We explore the kit really neatly within this. It's not just kind of like cymbal oriented stuff there. We have a wide range of different beats and patterns there that make for a really just a really well-rounded piece that I think, again, integrates shoegaze and death metal really well. It's something I haven't really heard a lot of. I honestly wouldn't mind doing a review of this album in my own time, but again, that's something I'm thinking about at the moment. I just haven't done a lot of stuff with Patreon recently, and I figured just doing like weekly album reviews exclusive to Patreon might be good, but we'll see how we go. In the meantime, I think that something I like about this is the way that the theme overall mirrors a sense of gentle. It's very gentle in the way it approaches the listener, but it also has some sharp edges to almost mirror the kind of the tension that the difficulties that the person is being met with. It's like, yeah, okay, we're trying to approach this in a mature way that is not too heavy-handed, but at the same time, yeah, there's some definite pain that's going on there and some struggle there. Again, with the numbness, which is kind of an interesting juxtaposition there. And so I feel like it's a very mature performance that leaves a lot of kind of questions unanswered and allows you to learn more upon multiple listens. Finally, the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is fantastic. I appreciate the way that the vocals are captured alongside the guitar, bass, drums, and everything else involved, including the vocals and anything else. Atmospheric or foley-oriented. I appreciate the leveling. Things are nicely rounded within the frequency spectrum. There's no weird resonant frequencies, and the music surrounds you in the headphones, so the stereo field is fantastic as well. There is dynamic range in this. Things aren't too squeezed. There's moments of quietness and like from the start going back into it, but it's nicely glued at the same time, and it's nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting is handled. Effectively, this is a fantastic track from Deafheaven. I have no complaints about it. I think it's a unique experience they've had a great time with, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via their various social medias and their Spotify page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever. Thought of crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you all in the next SU Patrons video. Spiderhands out.